In this video, I will tell you the most important tips that I can give you as somebody who's just been in your place a little while ago. I will give you 50 tips to help you out getting started, as Genshin can be truly a lot in the beginning. Now I am just like you, a new player who started not so long ago. I'm about 100 hours into this game right now, and while my memory is still fresh on all the things that I messed up or just straight up didn't notice, I would like to help you out. As a quick disclaimer, I will not be covering things that you can buy that involve real life money, as that will entirely depend on your financials and willingness to spend money on the game. Aside from that, let's start from the very beginning. And so in the very beginning, when you just start off the game, don't immediately start leveling up every character that you receive. In the beginning, you're gonna get a lot of characters like this, like her, and plenty more as well. Now, my personal recommendation would be to focus on this one first. The reason being because this guy uses melee attacks. His skills are very useful, especially in the early game. You receive him for free, it's not that difficult to level him up, and he works well later on in the game as well. Of course, once you receive better characters like maybe her, or him, or anybody else who's better, of course you can focus on them. Ideally you want somebody in the beginning with physical attacks. This is my current team, and as you can see, even though he's not my main damage dealer anymore, I still use him, he's still useful to me. I can't say that for every character. Most importantly, focus on leveling up one character, and then once you receive better ones, you can level up them as well. Although books like these to level up characters are not too difficult to obtain, you still don't want to waste them on characters you don't need, so start off with one, and then be sure to check out a guide from there onwards. Now my next tip is, you will receive quite a little bit of these. As you can see, I have 27 of them. With these you can restore original resin. That's like an energy essentially. And in the very beginning, you simply probably won't need it, and for quite a lot of time you're quite unlikely to need it. I'm about 100 hours into the game and I still haven't used even one of them. Maybe if you play a lot it's gonna be useful for you, but keep in mind there's gonna be times where you're gonna need to farm up material for your next characters, and that's when you wanna use it, not just randomly. They are very hard to come by. After about 100 hours I only have 27, and I haven't used a single one, so keep in mind. Now let's deal with the wishing system. Now to wish you need fates. To get fates you need primogems. When you go to shop and you go purchase with primogems, you can see that you can buy two. Never buy this one, only buy this one. Reason being, you will always get these from quests and other places, and you can spend these on this standard banner. The standard banner never rotates the characters, they are always the same, so you will have plenty of time to get them. The event banners, however, they always rotating the characters, so there's always different characters that you can obtain, and usually they're much newer, potentially stronger, or just more fun to play. You can also buy Fate with a Star Litter, although you don't get that much of it, so use it with caution. There's also some characters that you can buy with Star Litter, so maybe you wanna save up for that. You can also buy with Stardust, and every month there's gonna be 5 of each at a huge discount, so for these, buy both. Although there's technically no difference between wishing 10 times or wishing 1 time, however, if you try to get a specific character, you may be gonna get it from the first wish and then save the rest of them for what you want later on. So wishing one at a time might be better in some cases, but technically your luck doesn't improve or decrease whichever way you go. Wishes also have a pity system, and it goes like this. For every 10 wishes, you're gonna get a 4-star, and for every 90 wishes, you're guaranteed to get a 5-star. Now if you look here on the event banners, it says that you have a better chance of obtaining this 5-star. Although it is technically true, it does say 50%, but as a new player you can misunderstand that. It doesn't mean that this has a 50% chance of dropping, no. This, just like any other one, it has a 0.6% chance of dropping. However, once you do drop a 5-star, you have a 50% chance of getting this guy, because if you look at the list, you can actually get a lot, like 8 of them. So when you do drop one, there's a 50% chance of getting specifically this one. That's what 50% stands for, and not a 50% chance. And same goes with these 4-stars. The other thing is, if you do end up getting not this guy at 50% but somebody else, the next time you hit a 5-star on this banner, you're guaranteed to hit him 100%. And every banner has its own pity. So these two are the event banners and they have one pity system. This has a separate pity system and this has yet another pity system. So if you wish 89 times here, it will do nothing here, and vice versa. And when this timer runs out and the event ends, however many wishes you spend, that pity transfers onto the next banner. So if you don't like the characters here, you can just wait it out, or if you're afraid that you're not gonna make it, you're gonna be good. It's gonna be transferred. As far as the standard banner goes, it never changes, so it's always there. And if you wanna know how many times have you already wished, how close you are to the pity system, you can click here history, and you can kind of just see. For example, as you can see, I just recently dropped a 5-star and I wished 3 more times. So that means in this event banner, I'm only 3 wishes deep until my pity. Now you may ask me, well, how to get Primo Gems to buy the wishes? Well, it's simple actually. Do the quest. As you can see, the quest rewards you Primo Gems. Do the dailies. Dailies also give you that. You can open up chest. As you can see, it also gives. And honestly, you can do anything really. Just play the game and you will receive plenty of them. You don't need to seek out any other way, just play the game. You will at some point, but not in the beginning. Now my next tip is do your dailies. I cannot stress enough how good are they. As you can see, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know it might sound a lot, 4, but actually they're really quick. They take what, maybe 10 minutes if so. Sometimes they don't even take minutes. Sometimes I do them in like 4 or 5 minutes tops. That's it, 1 is done. Just as I was talking to you, 1 is done. And then all that you need to do is to deliver to Adventurers Guild. And as you can see, it gives a lot of XP, materials, gold, and of course Primo Gems as well. At Adventurers Guild, at some point you will unlock expeditions, and you can send your characters for up to 20 hours at a time. As you can see, the characters that you not use, you can send them and they will bring you some materials back. Click claim all, and you then click dispatch again, and that's it. But when you're gonna start, it's likely gonna be on 4 hours, so if you wanna go for 20 hours, just be sure to click. Now let's see what happens if you in the beginning run out of quests. What to do then? Honestly, just explore. You're gonna find plenty of guys to defeat, and they will drop you items, they will drop you chests, they will give you adventurer XP and all kinds of stuff like that. So don't be afraid to run for explorations. At some point you will have so many quests you will not even know which to begin to do, but in the very beginning you might actually not have enough. So just walk around, explore, and you will actually even find some quests that are hidden and not on the quest log. And even if you have enough quests, don't be afraid to just mindlessly explore, because you will receive plenty of items you're gonna need later on. So while you're still low level, you explore, gain XP and gain future materials. Take part in the events. To find events you can click tab, then you can go here, and as you can see there's gonna be plenty of events for you to partake in. For example, these will give you Primo Gems. As you can see there's quite a lot of them. This event even lets you choose a character for free, and at the time of watching this video, if you can still take one of these characters, I took this one and I would highly recommend you as well. You can level him up reasonably early, he's pretty strong, he's pretty useful, or alternatively you can also take him, he's also pretty good, but that's up to you. Just make sure not to pick her, because you can get her in another place. I will show you a little bit later. Now as you can see, I already have quite a little bit of map explored and open up. To open up a part of map, you need to find these statues. They look like this, and on the map they're gonna look like this. All you do is you just come and you touch them. You can also worship them. For that you need these things, and these you can find all over the place. The higher the statue's level, as you can see, the more stamina you're gonna have. You're gonna get XP, Primo Gems, and as always all that good stuff. And stamina is very useful in this game, so I cannot recommend enough upgrading all of the statues as early as you can. And if you look at the minimap, as you can see there's a star. That star means that there's somewhere here one of these things that you need to sacrifice to the statue. So all you need to do is just follow it along, and sure enough you're gonna find it. I can already see where it is, and there we go. However, in some other areas, for example like here, you're gonna have trees like this, or maybe some other similar looking statues, but really all they do is the same. As you can see, the items look a little bit different, but honestly it's the same thing. This region has one kind, this region has another kind, this region has yet another kind, and so on and so forth, but all they do is the same. And to unlock teleports, all you need to do is touch the smaller statues. They also will give you some primogems. Another thing I would highly recommend you, use your resin. You will have 160 resin every single day, and it recovers in around like 20 hours or so. You can use it in many ways, mainly that would be dungeons like this, bosses like these, and also world bosses like this. However, these you can access only once a week. That would be bosses like this one or this one. The reason I say use it as much as possible, because in the early levels you pretty much will not need it, but if you use it you're gonna farm up future material, and since it replenishes every day anyway, it's not really a waste. At some point in the future you will probably want to use it a little bit more careful, but in the beginning honestly just do whatever you can. It will give you XP, materials and all other kinds of stuff, primogems, and it's not gonna sit unwasted. At some point you will open up this place, the Abyss. All you need to do is come here. As you can see, there's quite a lot of rewards. Also, once you complete certain chambers at certain levels, you will receive a character as well. That's how I received her, and that's why I told you not to pick up her in the event, if you can still do that. As you can see, I will also receive her once I clear the 4th floor, chamber 3, but last time I did it, I was a little bit too weak and I couldn't get there, so at some point I will get there as well. And once you're able to go to Abyss to unlock it, all you really need to do is to go here. As you can see, there's gonna be these little spirits, one here, and one there. But when you come for the first time, they're gonna be scattered. One's gonna be here, another's gonna be one up there, and I don't remember, another's gonna be somewhere around there. All you need to do is just touch them and guide them here, and that's it. And then this thing will open up for you. All you do is you go up, and then you're gonna get teleported there. At some point, once you explore quite a lot of this area, the game will start to send you here. But here is gonna be a lot more difficult. Monsters here gonna be quite a lot more tougher. As you can see by the blue bar, you also gonna be freezing. You will need find heat sources like this and star them to not freeze, and it's gonna be quite a little bit more difficult than before. Let's prepare you for that. And so let's start from the top to the bottom. If you go to attributes, you can ascend the character. This will increase your base stats. To level up, you're gonna need plenty of materials, and that's why I said use your resin, because at some point you're gonna need them. To know how to get them, you can just press on any of them and the game will actually show you where to get them. As you can see, I just pressed it, I pressed navigate, and then it immediately shows me where to go. However, it might be not unlocked, then you might need to look up where the boss is actually located, because you haven't opened the map just yet there, and that's why it doesn't show. Some material can also be crafted, usually flowers like these, you can just collect them. A lot of those materials can be found in places, some from bosses, and some can actually even be purchased from Stardust Exchange. If you click, as you can see, aside from the fates, there's also a lot of material. However, I would not recommend to buy them unless you absolutely need them, because you don't know when you're gonna need it, and you might as well save it for those times that you actually do. Now going further to the weapons section, you can also enhance the weapon as well. For this, you will also need materials, and it's the same story just like ascending your character. Again, that's why I said use your resin, because you're gonna collect these things. You can also refine the sword, but for that you need more identical swords, and having 4-star swords may not come as easily, and 5 stars even so. So don't worry too much about that. Now moving into the artifacts section, which is probably the most important one of them all. As you can see, it gives me a lot of attack, decent amount of defense, and a pretty big amount of HP. So these are the most important items. Now, especially in the beginning, let's take for example this guy, who I said is probably a good choice for the start. The one thing that will give this guy the most amount of damage, that would be the feather. If you can find a 4-star early feather, great, level it up, because it gives you the most amount of attack. If you can't, not that big of a deal, you can still level up a 3-star, and then once you go into enhance, you can just sacrifice a piece that is already leveled up, and it's gonna give you most of the XP you already used on that piece. However, I would not recommend leveling up 3-star pieces unless you know what you're doing and that piece fits you very well. There's also gonna be more artifacts that will give you attack, however nothing will give you as much as the feather, so this item will bring you the most damage in the beginning. Hence, why we want a physical character at the start of the game. Although you are fine to sacrifice all 1 and 2 star materials, as far as the 3 star materials goes, you need to be just a tiny bit more careful. Because for example, a piece like this that gives me Kyro damage, which is essentially just ice damage, doesn't really come that easily. Out of everything that I have here, I only have 1 piece like that, and it is a 3 star. So pieces that are 3 star but are, let's say, Kyro damage, Hydro damage, Pyro damage, or any other kind of elemental damage, you might want to hold on to them and not sacrifice them, because it could be a little bit tough to find a 4 star piece, at least for a little while. Eventually you will, but at the beginning of the game, this is probably gonna be your best bet. Now you may wonder, well, what kind of stats do I need? Although nothing will beat the community guide, you can actually click here up top and it will show you the recommended stats that you need. And if you click on the other item, it will move along, as you can see. As you can see, it shows that preferably I would go for an attack, then if not energy, and then if not elemental. Same here, as you can see, and that's why I'm saving this 3 star piece, because it gives me Kyro damage bonus, and I do not have another piece like that. Another way of doing things, if you completely don't know what you're doing, you can click here, which is a fast equip, then click quick configuration, and the game will automatically select potential pieces for your character that fits the best from what you have. It may not be ideal, but at least it will give you a good baseline. So for a new player, that can be an insanely good thing, because you have no idea what you're doing at first. So you just hit equip and that's it, and the character has every piece that she needs. Although that's not entirely true, because as you can see, she could have 4 pieces and then she would have more stats, but the game only equipped 2 pieces that match. You can also mix and match them. It doesn't have to be 4 of the same, it can be 2 of this, for example, and then maybe 2 of this. But you do want to have both, but priority is still getting the right thing here up top, the one that here is recommended. Now moving forward into Constellation, this one is a little bit more tricky. Although it is easy to level up this, all you need to do is get another copy of the same character. So it's easy, but you need to roll, for example, more 4-star characters, which is not the easiest necessarily thing to do, because you need an exactly the same copy. So you probably want to wait for the event banner that gives you the higher chance of receiving certain characters, and then you can level up the Constellation. There's not much else to talk about this right now, and you don't really need to worry about this in the beginning of the game. Moving into talents, it's not just about reading them, but if you go here, you can actually level up them as well. All you need is a little bit of material and then you can level up. It will increase your damage by quite a bit. At some point you will hit the cap, you will need to upgrade your character even more before you can continue upgrading your skills. Another tip will be read your abilities, because not every character has the same abilities, even though it may look like it, like every character has only 2 skills, but that's not entirely true. There will be certain bonuses and certain things the characters do. If you just read the ability, you will know, but if you do not want to read the ability, at least experiment and try to understand what they do, because for example, if I press E, it throws the enemy away. But if I hold E, as you can see, it pulls it towards me and I can even throw them. For example, if I use his Q, I can actually switch to another character and I can still have this, as you can see. So be sure to either read the abilities, which is the preferable way, but also experiment and understand what they do, because not each skill is equal to another one. Now the next tip will be, if you press tab and you go to this book and you go to experience, you can get a lot of goodies. They're gonna give you a lot of XP, a lot of rewards, and they're gonna be very easy to complete as well. Of course, later on they're gonna be a little bit more difficult, but in the beginning they are very easy. And just in general, you're gonna find world bosses here and information about them. Now for the next tip is, certain elements work together very well. For example, if I use here fire and then I use water, it vaporizes it, and when it vaporizes it, it gives a lot more damage. It probably is like twice the damage. So you use 2 characters to create an effect, or for example, I use her water ability and then I use his ice ability and this guy is frozen. And then I could have used a fire ability on top of that to melt him and gain even more damage. I will leave you guys in the video description a link with all the possible combinations. My next tip will be buy the foods. especially the ones that are a little bit more difficult to come by. He sells things like fish, which is not that easy to catch, and you can buy 10 every day. So do that, because you're gonna need a lot of food, so you might as well stock up early. If it sells 10 units or less, it's probably good. If it sells, for example, like these, which you can buy up to 100 per day, you probably don't need to necessarily stock up, since you can buy quite a lot of them anytime. Now the next tip I will give you, if it's shiny, pick it up. I cannot stress you enough how much you're gonna need everything in the future of the game. Things that seem unnecessary right now, for example these things, at first you're gonna eat them and they're gonna be nice, but very shortly they will not give you enough HP anymore, and then for quite a lot of hours you're not gonna need them anymore. And at some point you will unlock your own house and boom, all of a sudden you need them again. I didn't need them for like 100 hours and then completely out of nowhere I need them again. And thankfully I had a lot of them. Just have this mentality. Ooh, shiny. Take it. Take all of the shiny things. They are all yours and leave them to nobody. Because believe me, you're gonna need every single shiny item you pick up. I promise you, not a single item will be wasted. You're gonna need all of them. Now the next tip on the list will be press escape, go to achievements. You can click on any of these, doesn't matter, and then just scroll a little bit and you will notice these exclamation marks. That means you completed something and you can receive primogems. It may not be much, but you're gonna achieve a lot of achievements and they're gonna add up really fast. Now, you may do a quest and it will tell you come back tomorrow between certain hours. Of course, we don't wanna sit around and wait, right? So press escape. Here on the left side, you're gonna see timer. Just choose the specific hour that you need, press confirm, wait a little bit, and that's it. It's next day, you can do the quest, and so on and so forth. You might wanna take pictures as well. Same thing, go escape to left on top. You can do a lot of things like zoom in, blur the background, look at camera, do poses and so on and so forth. But you might want a specific time like sunrise or sundown, and that's where the timer can be useful as well. Or maybe you're just afraid of the dark. Who am I to judge you, right? Now at some point, when you're gonna reach a certain level, that is your adventurer level, you're gonna come to the adventurer guild. First of all, you can receive a lot of rewards and good ones as well here, but at certain levels you will do ascension quests. They give good stuff, that is true, but as you can see they will also increase your world level. And you might ask, well, what the world level means? If you go to escape, as you can see my world level is 3, then you click here, it will tell you everything you need to know. But to summarize, the higher the world level is, the higher your enemies level are, the better the rewards, but the more difficult the fights. Simple as that, right? For example, enemies that gonna be in this beginning area, enemies that used to be level 5 or 6, now are level 30, 35. And the same goes with bosses. The first time I fought this guy, he was level 39, and now he's level 51. So what you can do when you reach a certain point and you need to do the quest, but you're afraid to level up the world because you think I'm not even strong enough to defeat everybody easily now, just don't do the ascension quest. Hold off for a little bit, go explore, farm, maybe do some quest or something, upgrade your artifacts, your talents, whatever it may be, and you will be strong enough at some point, and then you can do the quest and ascend. Now, if you go on the map and you see this icon, at some point it will open up, and if you go to them, every major city has its own reputation. At this lady, I already claimed everything, but for example in this city, and I go to the same lady, as you can see I have quite a little bit of unclaimed reputation, and then if I click here on the chest, the more I level up my reputation, the more items I can receive. So maybe you done some achievements for reputation, you didn't even know about it, and you didn't even know you can do this, be sure to check it out. Maybe you have some cool stuff waiting for you, you just didn't know. As you can see, there's another one here. Now I leveled up, I can claim even more rewards, and so on and so forth. Another tip will be, some characters have either unique abilities or close to unique. Most characters, when I press shift, they dash, but she goes into this invisible state and she travels like this, but that's not the only perk. which you can actually travel across the water, and in some locations that can be very useful. I can pick up items much more faster, I can travel faster, and there's plenty more uses to it. So be sure to check out, maybe your character has some unique abilities. For the longest of time I didn't know how to open up my mouse when I play. Only when I go into escape can I use my mouse, but actually if you hold Alt you can use your mouse, and as you can see you can go anywhere you want. And you will need to do that, because if you go here and you click through everything here that you already achieved, all you need to do is just click next, 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 next. You will receive some more Primo Gems. Now Genshin will also have this amazing interactive map, but to access it you're gonna need to go online through your web browser. I will again leave a link in the description. If you go here on the site you can access absolutely any information you want. Remember those things that we talked about that you need to collect and worship the statue? Well, if you press here, as you can see, they will show up and you will know exactly where to go. This tool is fantastic. It will also show some hidden quests as well, so be sure to utilize it. Like I said, I will leave a link in the description. For longest of time I was continually clicking the dialogues to continue the story, but if you look at the left corner up top you can press on auto, so essentially it's like watching a cutscene with a few buttons every now and then to press. You can press left mouse or you can press F button to speed up the dialogue, but there is no way to skip it. Another tip that I can give you, be sure to check your mail. These mails expire, and some of the mails you might have quite a lot of Primo Gems, some other items, maybe more, who knows what that may be. Maybe like this, a card name. As you can see I received quite a lot of things, including stuff like wings, a lot of gold and whatnot, and these things will expire at some point, so make sure just click claim all and don't worry about it. Every region has its own souvenir store with a specific coin that you earn when you quest and just explore the world, and if you go here to this diamond looking thing, for example to this lady here, you go to browse items, you can buy quite a little bit of these materials, and these are not easy to come by, so be sure to buy them. And in this other region as well there's gonna be another shop which will require different currency, and again she will also have different items. It's not the same in every city, so be sure to check everything. Next tip is, when you go to party setup you will have your party, but if you check you can also have more parties, so you can have presets, and you can click here on the right or on the left and move between them and just click deploy. For example, if you're farming specific boss, which with this party I am, when I go to the boss I deploy this party, when I go out of it I just go back to my usual one. You can also get some rewards in the Genshin website. Every now and then there's gonna be an event or something going on, or just daily logins into the website, and that also gives you some extra rewards. And my final tip of them all will be, just keep on playing. Let me tell you a little story about me playing this game for the first time. When I started to play the game only ever sent me around this area right here. There was nothing too interesting to do. Some of the quests were not even that interesting. At some point I even ran out of quests, and soon enough I was starting to get bored and I didn't want to play and I quit. Then about 8 months later my sister told me try it again because she's also playing this game, and as soon as I started moving out of this area I went from not having enough things to do to having so many things to do I didn't know where to even start. You're gonna spend so much time in this area alone, and then very quickly and very sharply you're gonna move here, then here, then here, here, and you have so many things to do you will not even know what to do. All of a sudden you will start to find places like this mountain here, like this absolutely fantastic and beautiful location, or maybe places like these absolutely gorgeous places as well. Then eventually you're gonna make your way to this big city which looks absolutely stunning as well, and there's gonna be so many things to do that you will not even know what to do. You will also get to fight guys like this, and this, and plenty more of boss fights around the world. And I have to say, from my own experience, the game is rather slow at the beginning, like really slow. And maybe some of you will not agree with me, but I think the game doesn't have the best introduction to it, but then it picks up the pace, and boy does it pick up the pace really fast. That would be the top tip I would give to myself when I started the game. If you wanna view my journey, you can actually click on here on this video. This is a new player series, it goes from the start until where I am today, and we can go through this new player journey together. For now, take care, bye bye.